I'm Anna.
I'm Johnny.
I'm Ann.
I'm Jenna.
And we are going to give a summary of Mouse Book 1.
Mouse Book 1 summary. The book starts off when Art goes to his father's house, Vladek, to hear about his past during the Holocaust and World War II. Vladek first dates Lucia Greenberg, then he travels to Sosnovitz, where he's introduced to Anya, the girl who he later marries. They get married in 1937, and soon after the marriage, they have a son named Rashu. After the birth, Anya becomes depressed, and Vladek takes her to a sanitarium for 3 months. Vladek gets part ownership of Anya's father's shop, then Vladek is drafted into the Polish army.
During the war, Vladek is captured and taken to a prisoner of war camp. He has a dream that his grandfather tells him that he will be released during the Jewish week of Parshas Trauma. During Parshas Trauma, 3 weeks later, Vladek is released. Then he returns to Sosnovitz and finds out that the family business has been taken by the Germans. Vladek meets an old customer, and the two begin a dangerous business of black market dealing. In 1942, the Jews are forced to move to a separate part of town, and Anya's grandparents have to go to a new community for the elderly. The family tries to hide the grandparents, but they're taken to Auschwitz. The Jews are told to go to a nearby stadium for registration, and here the elderly families with any children and people with work cards are sent to the left. Everyone else goes to the right. People on the left are sent to their deaths at Auschwitz. Vladek's father goes to the right, but then he crosses over to the left to be with his daughter and 4 children. None of the family survived the war.
In 1943, all the Jews are forced into a ghetto in a nearby town. Uncle Persis tells Vladek that he can keep Richu until things calm down. Vladek and Anya agree and send Richu to stay with Anya's sister, Tasha. When the ghetto is raided by the Nazis, rather than being sent to Auschwitz, Tasha poisons herself, her daughter, and Richu. In Srodula, Vladek constructs bunkers that the family can hide in during the Nazi raids. They are eventually caught and sent to a compound to be transported to Auschwitz. Then, by bribing his cousin, the chief of Jewish police, Vladek is able to arrange him and his wife to be released. Anya's parents are sent to Auschwitz. Vladek's other cousin built a bunker behind a pile of shoes in a factory that Vladek and Anya hide in. Then they walk back to Sosnovitz and are hidden in a shed, owned by her father's old janitor.
Okay. Oh, shit.
They move to a barn outside of the city. It eventually gets too cold, and they move into a house owned by a black market grocer, Mrs. Montanoa. One day she is searched by the Gestapo at the market and kicks them out of the house. They live on a street for the night and then return to Mrs. Kawaka, who introduces them to smugglers who will take them to safety in Hungary. A few days later, Mrs. Montanoa apologizes to Vladek and they hide with her again. But Vladek doesn't feel safe, so he wants to meet the smugglers. They board the train and are arrested by the Gestapo and sent to a concentration camp.